Hi folks. So I know I've made a couple videos about The Matrix on this channel, and The Matrix Resurrections came out today, and I saw it, and my ring light is projecting a nice shade of green right now, so I guess that means that I need to talk about The Matrix Resurrections. It, it exists. It's a movie. Definitely a movie. It's out there in the world. Just being a movie. And I'll just say that this movie has thrown me for a loop. Not in the sense that it was like confusing or I couldn't follow it or had concepts that were too abstract for me or anything like that. I can't decide if I liked it or not. I like lots of things about it, but I also kind of feel like it doesn't hold up. So, spoiler free, if you're looking for my recommendation of whether you should see The Matrix Resurrections, maybe. You know, it's funny, when I did my trailer review, I made that joke, like, maybe there are spoons, there might be spoons, I'm not sure. And that is kind of how I felt about this whole movie. Maybe. The whole thing it's a big maybe. So, I'll just go ahead and say right now, spoilers from here on out. I predict that this is a movie that's going to frustrate a lot of fans. And I'm kind of okay with that. Because the thing that it does that's going to frustrate people, to me, was the best part of the film. See, allegory is a really tricky thing. Like, if you have too much of it, or it's too blatant, people are going to be like, oh my god, we get it, stop beating me over the head with this idea. But if it's too vague and wishy-washy, then your film has no moral, no point. So I love the first act of this movie. All the stuff with Thomas Anderson being a game programmer who's being asked to revisit The Matrix, a game that he created 20-something years ago. And he has that scene where he's sitting down with his boss who says, like, hey, they're going to make it with or without us. Like, that's very clever, like, subtle commentary from Lana Wachowski, and I was really digging it. And see, to me, if the whole movie was just Thomas Anderson walking around Chicago, or I mean, they shot it in San Francisco, but it's supposed to be Chicago, I think. Having like a nervous mental breakdown because he's being forced to revisit this piece of media that he created 20 years ago, that to me is a way more interesting story than what's been going on in Zion for the 60 years since the war ended. And there were so many subtle little comments of, I mean, things that, if you know what's been going on with the Wachowskis and Warner Brothers and the production of this film, it all reads as just like subtle. It's exactly what I was talking about when I did that Why I'm Changing My Tune About the Matrix video a couple years ago. I was looking for the commentary, the social commentary of what's happened in the past 20 years. And we got those comments peppered throughout the movie, and none of them got explored. And that really bugged me, especially because I spent the whole second act going, all right, any second now he's gonna wake up and we're gonna be back in video game programmer world, and that's where that to me was way more interesting. So the second act was flimsy at best, and the third act completely falls apart. We get introduced to about a dozen lifeless, useless characters that had no effect on the film, No, nothing to set them apart or make you care about them like you cared about the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar in the first movie. So much of the second half of this movie just felt soulless, almost like Lana Wachowski gave up. This movie got me asking a very specific question. And it's a question that is actually asked in the movie by the characters. What is it that's so special about The Matrix? The Matrix is this really unique franchise in the fact that that first film is damn near perfect. It was unique for its time. It literally revolutionized filmmaking at the very end of the 20th century. And it left a lasting legacy, and if you go back and watch that first film, it still holds up, which is way more than I can say for the second movie and the third movie and this most recent one. Just like the criticism I made of the other two sequels that I see a lot of people making now, by the way, and I can't take full credit for it. I was very inspired by Movie Bob Chipman, when I wrote that video. Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions are full of great ideas that are poorly executed. And this film is full of great ideas as well that aren't even executed. They're presented and dropped. Every idea that I thought was interesting in this movie was just kind of like, let go. I was really, really looking forward to what message or moral Lana Wachowski could be now using The Matrix to tell us. And this definitely wasn't your usual Hollywood studio debacle of like, oh, the studio interfered and ruined the message of the movie. If anything, the creator interfered and took her movie back. I guess what I'm saying, if anything, is that The Matrix belongs to Lana and Lily Wachowski. Warner Brothers shouldn't have been trying to resurrect this franchise unless Lana and Lily Wachowski had something important that they wanted to say. I think the first act almost says what Lana wanted to say, but at the end of the day, it's another Matrix film, so you have to do, the good guys fighting the bad guys. And one thing I do like is that there are machines that are on the human side now. I think it would have been way cooler if there were also some humans that were siding with the machines. Another thing that I think that people will wind up talking about this film is that it didn't have all of those, like, weird little biblical, esoteric, Gnostic references, There weren't any characters introduced in this film that I was like, oh, I gotta go figure out what that name is a reference to, like every character was in the first three films. It's good to know that the Merovingian is still lurking around somewhere in the Matrix. That guy is just too wily to die. And frankly, I don't know what else there is to say, and who knows, maybe in a month or two I'll change my mind about this movie and we'll come back with a more in-depth analysis. Like I said, there's certainly good stuff there. It's just not followed through. And not for nothing, but if anything, The Matrix is known for its stylized violence. Kung fu, wire work, very John Woo inspired, like nifty action scenes, and this movie didn't have that. It tried to, but it also kind of felt like they were taking the cheap way out. The action scenes in this movie were indistinguishable from any other superhero flick. So, it's not bad, it's not poorly done, it's just not The Matrix. Like I said in my trailer review, The Matrix is unique. And this movie wasn't. Oh, the first 30 minutes were unique, but then it gave up on that pretty quickly. So, I literally don't know what else there is to say. Once again, for the New Proletariat Theater, I'm Alex saying, there should have been spoons. There should have been spoons.